welcome back. This is going to be the life and times of Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, to the best of my memory. I need to make it abundantly clear. I have not actually done any research about her since 6th grade, so this may not be the most accurate retelling, but it's an overview. And if you really want to know what happened and like a better presentation of it, I would actually recommend the movie with Elizabeth Taylor called, I think it's just called Cleopatra. I would 100% recommend that movie. I know it's not at all in the least whatsoever historically accurate, but from what I remember about the movie, it talks about Alexander the Great. You know, it gets over the whole Julius Caesar thing, Mark Antony, everything, while Elizabeth Taylor looks fucking hot, so, you know, I do believe she is the reason that, Carrie Fisher's parents are divorced, but you know what? Well, Carrie Fisher and her mom are both dead, so what does it matter? I'm sorry. Star Wars fans, please don't kill me. I love her too, Jesus. Anyway, but, yeah, no, it actually is pretty accurate. So, that was. Okay, so, background. I was obsessed with Cleopatra randomly out of fucking nowhere in 6th grade. I read every book, watched every movie, everything I could get my goddamn hands on about Cleopatra. I read it. So, fun fact, Cleopatra was actually Greek. To burst anyone's bubble. Also, she had absolutely fucking nothing to do with ancient Egypt. That is not her. Okay? That is not her. That was not her at all. Okay? You guys want an actual ancient Egyptian pharaoh who was like an ultimate girl boss, but also not because she was probably actually trans? Or, I don't even know. Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut. She... I'm just gonna call her she. I don't care about a dead person's pronouns. She's interesting. Because I'm not sure if she was after King Tut, or what her deal was. Maybe it wasn't Tutankhamun, maybe it was Tutmos. It's probably Tutmos. I don't remember. I don't know. All their names are so weird, I don't remember. She was awesome. She, wanted to be addressed as the pharaoh, not the queen regent. She was the pharaoh. She wore men's attire and was depicted in all art next to and dressed like the men. So, I think she's buried in the Valley of the Kings, which means that all her shit is gone. So, yeah. It's so funny because all these graves were all robbed in antiquity, so like, except for King Tut, because nobody gave a shit about him enough to rob his tomb. Which is really depressing, because he was only 18 when he died, and he reigned for 10 years. So he was literally just like a child, an incredibly inbred child, and his father was like a heretic, so everybody hated him. So that's why he became king at 8, is because his dad got assassinated for being awful. Anyway, Hatshepsut is awesome. She's literally amazing, legendary, show-stopping, amazing. I love her, but we're not talking about Hatshepsut at this point. I also don't know that much about her, but we are going to be talking about Cleopatra. So, Alexander the Great conquers Egypt, and then after that, he gets so depressed that he dies. That's really not a joke. The guy, you know, literally, he probably died of alcohol poisoning from partying too hard, in character, but whatever. He actually just, like, the story goes that he looked out over his land and they didn't know that America was a thing, and he believed that he had conquered the entire known world, and he said, "Alas, I have nothing more to conquer." Shit, and died. Like, okay. Anyway, so, whenever he would conquer a new place, he would put one of his generals in power. You know, as like a governor type thing. So he put in, okay, I always get Ptolemy and Pompey confused, and I know you're thinking, that doesn't sound remotely alike, but they are so similar in spelling, because Ptolemy actually starts with P. Stupid, but it does. And then Pompey, so, fun thing, Pompey. This actually is very relevant to Cleopatra, so you know what? We're going to get to Pompey. Okay, Ptolemy the first, the third, I don't fucking know, is elected the guy who is in charge of Egypt. So, him and his family, so, his wife, whose name I don't know, forgot, Cleopatra, his daughter, and his son, Ptolemy II, are now in charge of Egypt. Well then, like, 2 days later, Alexander's dead. And in the Elizabeth Taylor movie, there's like a scene with her and Caesar, and they literally have him buried in Egypt. I don't think that's accurate, but whatever. And she's like talking about Alexander the Great, and how he was like her father's boss, right? Like, so that's why it's like, oh my god. Another thing, okay, so, Alexander's dead, so now, Ptolemy is not going to waste any time. He is now the leader of Egypt, king of Egypt, whatever, pharaoh, I don't even know what you want to call him. Well, then he dies, for whatever reason. His adult children get married, as, you do in Egypt. If you're siblings, you now have to fuck. So. Well, Cleopatra, she was a little too much of a girl boss for that. She did not care. So, she immediately waged war on her brother so that she could get the throne instead of him. As you do. So yeah. But, at the time, her brother was the pharaoh. So then, enter Julius Caesar. What does he do? Oh, he's chasing this mook Pompey, all the way from Rome, because guess what? Pompey thought it would be a really cute idea to, be like, oh, well, Cassius is dead, and so is my wife, Julius Caesar's daughter, Julia, and our son, so, what this calls for? Not grieving, no, taking over Rome, ha 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 ha, and not only that, pissing off my former father-in-law. Trifecta is out. Pompey, being the dictator of Rome, is in. So he calls up Julius Caesar, except phones didn't exist because this was like BC. Actually, it was BC. So, actually, no, it was not. Whatever. Actually, yes, it was. I don't remember timelines. Jesus. Whatever. Anyway, so he calls him up. He's like, "Hey, Jules, your daughter died." And he's like, for real, damn. Why are you calling me? He's like, "Yeah, hey, you need to surrender all your troops and come back to Rome right away. I know you're hanging out in Gaul, but you gotta come back. You're under arrest." And he's like, "But why?" Cassius is dead. Trifecta. It's over. Who needs it? I don't remember if they were actually called the trifecta, but I'm just gonna call them that because I don't actually give a shit. He was like, "It's over." And Julius was like, "Cute. I'll come back to Rome. I ain't seasoned. You're not taking my troops." So what does he do? He marches on Rome. Pompey really thought he would get away with this for some reason. So when that didn't work out, and he got chased back down through southern Italy, back to, I just really want to say Magna Graecia, because it's so fun to say. Magna Graecia. Magna Graecia is dead because Greece is dead, so that doesn't count. Anyway, he chases him back through Italy, and he gets on a boat and goes to Egypt, which is not that way. It's actually this way from southern Italy. Anyway, so then while he's like, well, he escaped, and then Julius is like, "I'm the dictator now. Goodbye. I'm gonna go find him." So he gets on a boat and goes to Egypt. And meanwhile, Pompey gets to Egypt. He comes up to Ptolemy II and is like, "Oh my god, please save me. Julius Caesar's after me. I thought I could take him. I couldn't. Please help." And Ptolemy is like, "Cool story, bro," and cuts his head off. Puts it in a jar. And when Julius Caesar gets to Egypt, he's like, "Hey, have you guys seen Pompey?" They're like, "Yeah," and they give him they give him the jar. He opens it, his head's in it, and this is so funny to me. Julius Caesar starts crying. Because he's like, damn it, I wanted to kill that little bitch myself. And then he looks at Cleopatra, who's just there, and he's like, actually, you know what, I'm not sad anymore. Shawty, can I get your number? So, I gotta stop laughing. History is so funny. So, Julie, I have literally spent 10 minutes on the build-up. Fuck. And remember, Cleopatra is only formally married to her brother. They are currently fighting each other. And Julius is like, well, damn it. Now I got nothing else to, can I, like, hang out here for a few days? And they're like, cool. And, somehow, this bitch manages to fucking set fire to the Library of Alexandria while he was there over the weekend. Something about, like, they burned their ships for something and, you know, a mast fell onto the library. And instead of like, oh my god, put it down, they were just like, yeah, who fucking needs books anyway? 1,000 years later, people are crying about it on TikTok, so, yeah. Okay, I don't remember if it was either Antony or Julius Caesar. Either way, some Roman douchebag accidentally set fire to the fucking Library of Alexandria. And nobody gave a flying fuck. Also, the reason the capital was Alexandria is because Alexander the Great conquered it and named it Alexandria. So, Alexandria, Egypt was the capital at this time. So, Cleopatra's brother dies. I can't remember if she kills him. What happens exactly? He's out of the picture. So now, she got what she wanted. She's the pharaoh now. She's banging Julius Caesar on the side. Is he married? Yes. Does she care? No. Does he care? Not at all. Even less than her, actually. Anyway, she has a kid with him. She names him Caesarion, as you do. Julius Caesar gets stabbed to death. Cool. She doesn't care at all. So, you know, she just basically is the pharaoh now. And fun fact about her, she's Greek, by the way. White. Also, this was not ancient Egypt we're talking. This is not ancient Egypt. This was like right before it became Roman Egypt. And now we're going to get into the actual good part of her story, which is why she was its last pharaoh. Well, Julius Caesar gets stabbed to death. Mark Antony? Well, let's just say he benefited greatly from that. So now, he's not exactly in it to win it. He doesn't want to be emperor. He's going to leave that to whoever the fuck. Yeah, whoever the fuck was, Octavian. A.K.A. Augustus Caesar. Now, Augustus was Julius's nephew, but Julius adopted him as his son. You know. So, this 19-year-old is now the king of Rome. The emperor of Rome. Sorry, I don't know why I said king. He's the emperor of Rome. Mark Antony does not benefit greatly from this. No, actually. He goes and hangs out in Egypt, burns the Library of Alexandria, if that was in fact him. Bangs Cleopatra, they have another kid. Fuck, I forgot his name. Doesn't matter. Caesarion and the other guy fucking eat it, because Augustus kills them. You know, as you do, right? Actually, he enslaved them and then he killed them, so. Hey, doesn't end well for kids, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. Civil War happens, you know, right? Mark Antony is like, damn, I kinda like the Senate. And Augustus was like, well, that's too damn bad. I fucking don't. And guess who has the crown? So he chases him down to Egypt. There's a whole battle on the ocean. Mark Antony dies. Cleopatra. Okay, there's not a lot about Cleopatra that doesn't revolve around men, which is really depressing. Because she was a pretty good ruler, right? She's pretty good. they don't know where the fuck she is. Like, they don't know where her body is. They don't know shit, right? Which is why Clone High makes no sense. Because they never found her body. How the hell are they going to clone her? I'm just saying. Anyway. So, okay, we're just going to rattle off some fun facts. She used to crush up pearls and put it in wine because champagne didn't exist yet. And that was basically like drinking champagne. Her and Mark Antony got into some wild stuff while they were banging. Yeah, they would like run through the streets and like disturb people while they were asleep, which is ridiculous, but it happened. She was awesome. I don't know. There's not really a lot that she really did, but whenever she was in public, she would wear Egyptian clothing, right? And whenever she was not, she would wear Greek clothing, because she's Greek. Like I keep saying. So yeah, she was cool. She was basically every depiction of any Cleopatra-based character, like Cleo Denial from Monster High, Cleo from Clone High. They're all basically exactly like what she was. Party girl, but she was really actually a pretty good ruler. But she was really into. I don't know if this is actually true, but there was a time she went to Rome on a big like party yacht, and it was like something about, and she was like, I don't actually want to leave Egypt. So Mark Antony was like, hey, come on, let's party on land. She was like, I don't want to leave Egypt, actually. You can come here. He was like, the boat? I don't have time, I've got like a job. And she was like, well, it's technically Egyptian soil because I own it. He was like, alright. So they had a party on a boat. That was in the Elizabeth Taylor movie. I don't know if that's actually true. That's probably like a rumor or something. Anyway, that's fun. Definitely in character for her. And my impression of her is pretty much exactly what she was like. She's awesome. So they didn't like her. Romans. They were not a fan of Cleopatra. Because she was, how do I say this? Better than them? Not really like that. She was just a woman who was ruling a pretty well-known and important country on her own, and, like, fucking sleeping with all of their elite. So they were a little confused as to how she can be a slut and smart at the same time. They really hated her. And she wasn't even, like, super attractive, either. She was just, like, she was just really smart. And they didn't know what to do with that. Because a woman with a brain? God! So, yeah. Anyway, she was really cool. I keep saying that. This is all based on my memory. Anyway, so we're just gonna skip to the good part, because this is already a really long video. She died. How? Who the fuck knows? When she heard that Antony was dead, she was like, ah! And that, Augustus was closing in and was gonna take Egypt from her. She was like, ah. So she put both of her kids on a horse and said, I don't know, fucking get out of here. Maybe you won't get captured. Spoiler alert, they do, and they die. Yay. And she hangs out, and she has, as the story goes, she has an asp, like the snakes from Indiana Jones, smuggled into her room in a basket of plums. And it bites her. Just like the cool cowboy lady in Holes. And it bites her and she dies. And it bites one of her servants and she dies. And, they bury her, whatever. Her tomb, which was never found. I'll tell you why. Just because the Romans probably flattened it and, or burned it or something. And then all of the statues of her and Augustus and everything was torn down. And she was basically, like, tried to be scrubbed out of the historical record because Augustus really hated her. Why? I have no idea. Like, she didn't do anything to him. So, yeah. Sort of disappointing end to someone as awesome as her. So, yeah. Basically, she threatened the Romans' masculinity and by being as good as they are. But they kept banging her for some reason. you know, and fucking just lived it up for all 20 some odd years of her life. Had Augustus Caesar and Mark Antony's kids living in the same roof. She just did stuff like that, you know. Also, I think it's very important to mention that Caesarian literally means Little Caesar. So, the pizza place ain't actually named after a Roman. It's named after an Egyptian. Actually, no, it's named after a Greek Roman kid who lived in Egypt. Just kidding. Little Caesars is named after Caesar, I think. Either way, Little Caesar's Pizza is okay, anyway. So yeah, I love history so much. I don't know. Hang on. That's a bad idea. Cleopatra is just one of the things I like. I could literally go through, like, some of the insane stuff that these Roman emperors got up to. Like, Caligula is my favorite. He was insane. He was insane. But the funniest thing is he was like, oh, you senators, your job doesn't even have a purpose anymore. I'm the emperor, bitch. You guys suck. All of you suck. In fact, your job is so pointless and so easy, my horse could do it. Actually, you know what? My horse is now a senator. Just to prove a point, he made his horse a senator. Nero kicked his wife to death and then forced a man to dress up as a woman and pretend to be his wife. That is just like coming out with extra steps that didn't need to happen. So yeah. I love Rome. They're idiots, and I love it. Prostitutes in Rome had penises engraved on the bottom of their sandals. So when they walked, it would leave a trail of penises. I've got so many of these. If I do another one of these videos, I think I'm going to talk about how most of the Old Testament is fake and lies. Just kidding. That's a terrible way to put it. I want to talk about mythology and the mythology behind the Bible and stuff, and how mythology works, and make my 11th grade mythology teacher proud, because, you know, reasons. So yeah, I can just tell myths and stuff because I know so many of them. You know what? I might actually do that. That would be awesome. Especially, like, for Hannah, my friend Hannah, she reads Lore Olympus, which is a comic about the gods, whatever. She calls Demeter Dimitri. And she straight up pronounced Persephone as Persephone. So I'm going to be telling all of the myths that I can think of for her. I also have another fun thing about the myth of the Minotaur. So, a little bit of historical context for that one. Local woman fucks bull. Surprised when her husband is upset. Poseidon is a motherfucker, is all I want to say about that. Okay, that's the end of this video. I'm sorry that I didn't really remember that much about Cleopatra herself, but Cleo Denial basically covers it, if you ever see Monster High. So yeah, she was awesome. Love her. 6th grade me was obsessed, and I wanted to know everything about her that I could, and I did at one point. I forgot all of it, so. Anyway, bye.